Hi, Marnie. I've just,
Hello.
hello. Have they all come back? Oh,
Most of
yes.
them, yeah, yeah.
Good.
Sorry about that. I upgraded the plan with Zoom and it was all ready and it said I had an hour and 15, all good, but no. How are
That's
you?
strange. Yeah, really well. Cold. It's cold and beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So I saw a few people on screen. If you want to join on with your screen and ask any questions, I'd be really delighted to see you all and share some thoughts and also share what your experiences have been. So, um, Carol, seeing you're on screen, do you have any?
It was really wonderful, Marnie. I love how you look at this from a just slightly different angle than I do in WA. Um, yeah, it's quite interesting that when you were, and I just had one thought as you were going through, when you were looking at the four pillars
Mhm.
of not our why, but their why, I've been approached by customers recently or visitors who want to be able to contribute as well. So it's not just they want to learn or um, or have that immersive experience, but they also want to contribute some way. They want to find out how they can help reduce light pollution and make a contribution that way. So it's sort of a bit like that volunteerism.
Voluntourism, yeah, yeah,
Volunteerism, yes,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah, so that was just a thought that I had when I was thinking about those four pillars of their why. Because, travelers do, I feel like more and more they do want to contribute to whatever causes, they're passionate about or they're getting involved in. So maybe that's another
Yeah,
thing.
it's an interesting thing. I have run small groups where we've done hands-on things like doing bug counting with different
Yep.
colored lights to see compare. So they're actually doing an experience with a physical scientific experiment, or even just doing citizen science where you're using globe at
Yeah,
night, something like that, to actually register and do SQM
it's a
readings.
good
They're
idea.
all things to do. Or asking them to just go back and look at their own local environment and, just do a quick community walk around and see how many good lights and bad lights, and then writing to their local council to ask if they could change their lights to
True. Yeah. And that
something.
really is a nice tie. It really nicely ties light pollution and the reduction of it and responsible lighting to an experience. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. And having had that hopeful emotional connection to it all, yeah,
Yes.
it really drives people. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well, if they're seeing the sky, the night sky for the first time, that's something that can be quite impactful. And then if they've got a tool that they can take away or even use on the night to get involved, that's a fantastic thing. I like the idea of bringing Globe at night into events and activities. Yeah, love that idea.
Good. There you go. Excellent. Thank you. Is anyone Brad, you look like you got a question? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to reach out to Carol and try and tee up something in the future. I've kind of been out of the industry for the last 12 months, kind of a forced out of the industry, but I'm back now and I'm allowed to talk to people and whatnot. So uh, I'm definitely keen
Okay.
to promote a lot of stuff here in Western Australia from a artificial lighting standpoint. I work with local governments, lighting designers, engineers, architects, and stuff like that pretty consistently on a daily basis. And yeah, I don't know where to start.
Oh, there you
Whereabouts
go.
are
There's
you
a
based?
connection.
Yeah.
Nalini, did you have a question? Yep.
Yeah, it was absolutely great, Mani. I was asked last weekend, it was Matariki weekend here, what my best astrotourism experience was. And I was actually lost for words because nothing stood out. Now I've realized I got to go on one of yours. Yeah, it's a very holistic approach rather than, as you said, I come from an astronomy background, and most of the stuff I see involve. In fact, I keep telling them dark skies means naked eye, not telescope. So,
Yeah.
so it's a thank you. Like you have distilled all your experience into this sort of situation. So
Thanks, Melanie.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I just wanted to explain from too that we don't have to be locked into telescopes, and naked eye, as you say. There are other ways that people could get involved. Yeah. So yeah. Adam, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Uh, yeah, thanks for this. Obviously, Marnie, you've done a great job again. I think we need an event, like an annual event that highlights everything that's across the entire both Australia and New Zealand, to base sort of a lot of the dark sky stuff around. I mean, a lot of people are doing lots of different things, but I think there needs to be one sort of crescendo event that we build to. And we have the International Day of Light every year that would be a good event to build around. But I don't know whether we've taking away from something like that, because I mean, we don't want light, so International Day of Dark or something probably doesn't sound great either. But it feels like there's so many things going on, but we still haven't got enough sort of coalescence behind what you're doing and what the ADSA is doing.
I think that's a really good point. I think it wouldn't. I actually agree. I think it would be fabulous to have a Southern Hemisphere event that we can all come together, and on white, maybe it's winter solstice or something, that we all come together and we do. I think, Adam, we talked before about taking a photo of the Southern Cross from our backyard or something like that. Yeah,
that was my thought. Is that if everyone took a photo of the Southern Cross with their camera phone at the same time, or around within the same hour or whatever, and we could actually map what the different issues, light pollution sort of things, are across the Australia, New Zealand space, and it's not stopping people doing it from other places in the world, but obviously it needs to be dark. And yeah, obviously it needs to be a lot of stuff put into this. And I don't remember what year we did that with Richard McDermott. Was it 2016? It was a long time ago.
It was, yeah. No, I don't think it was that long. I think it was It was before so about 2018, I think. But yeah.
But I think with camera phones, a lot of people most people have camera phones, and we can standardize the photos that's been taken from them, hopefully, and be able to actually get some scientific data out of it at the same time.
The thing we need is more people, people to drive it, get that happening. Gareth, I saw you put your hand up as well. I think you're on mute. Sorry.
Yes.
There you are.
Yeah, Marnie. I remember the first time I saw you, it was at that Gold Town out west of Sydney. I can't remember what it was called now.
Ballarat, yeah.
Ballarat.
Yeah. And
I remember that you had said, we don't call it dark skies, we call it starry skies.
Yeah.
And I was talking at a course on the weekend, and I said to the attendees that about having heard you say about starry skies, but for some reason it never caught on. And the dark sky message is coming across. But that starry sky concept and message is a wonderful one. I think I said it sounds too childlike, too retail like starry sky. But for sure that maybe you can resuscitate that. And
well,
the other one,
I do think that part of the difficulty with it is dark has a bad connotation. It's psychologically not a good word.
Yeah, you remember that Galloway conference where we met up, and how I was really amazed there. The talk about the darkness. There was some young female student who was out in the Lake District for days on end at night, wandering through the night. And then there was somebody who talked about a place in the South Island of New Zealand where you all sat in the dark in a restaurant and ate. And I think the point you make about us fearing the dark with that dude from Elm Street, I'm certainly with him. But I think we need to really try hard to stop people's fear and to embrace the darkness. I think that's a really great message to get out, something that I'm certainly going to push a bit more now. But thank you for this. It was really wonderful of you to do it, and yeah, it was fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, Gareth. No, thanks, Martin. Did you want to say anything?
I'll just unmute there. Yes, I thought an area of entertainment would be Banjo Patterson and others, poetry. If it's recited well and with emotion, it can have shivers down your spine, and people just love it. I did work at Siding Spring for most of my career, retired, and I worked then at the Thailand Astronomical Agency at Chiang Mai University. And they are interested in starting or initiating a dark sky park at Chiang Mai National Park, where their main telescope is operated. Yeah, I'd like to get involved both in Australia and possibly in Thailand. I could imagine they would love our Banjo Patterson under a starry night. Yeah. So that's all I have to say. Thank you. Yeah,
and I think the other thing that I very quickly rushed through at the end there was we need people to do this. We can't expect other people to do it all the time. So go and do it, Martin. Go and get a little group of people and talk, get some poems and recite them and see how it goes. You just got to trial it sometimes. And
sounds exciting.
I think it would be. Andre Phillips.
I do,
Michael,
indeed, yeah.
He was down in Sydney for a little while. He walked up to Sydney Observatory and when the observatory was closed and they weren't doing tours, and would just walk around and talk to people. Do you want to know what that star is up there?
Yes.
And he was just trialing it to see if he could run a tour up there. So so I think it's just trial. Let's just give it a go, and then
Yeah, thanks, Marnie.
No worries. Yeah. Hi, Rhiannon.
Hello.
Hi.
You've got Rhiannon and also my colleague Zoe here. We're
Zoe.
we're lighting designers. We work for a company called Arup. And yeah, I guess we're joining today. We're pretty passionate about this too. We're keen to try and educate people around, the principles for lighting spaces in line with the dark sky principles. And yeah, we're just here to sort of show our support for everything you do, Marnie. And you mentioned some of the policy earlier in your presentation, and I guess when it comes to Australian standards for providing lighting design solutions in the nighttime environment, a lot of the time these principles don't actually align with how we can preserve our dark skies. So we're here to try and advocate for that and see if we can make change. A lot of the standards are very old. So yeah, they don't get updated often, and yeah, really that's sort of, we're here to promote that.
I think one of the aspects that I love about the walks that Arup does, so if everybody's probably aware in this group of what Arup, would you want to explain it quickly, Rhiannon, the walk that,
Yeah, so we do a lot of what we call workshops. We usually take a group of anywhere from 15 to 30 people on a nighttime walk. We sort of arm them with a torch, and we usually take them on a bit of a journey through different types of spaces and how they're lit. And often we'll take people to places that are probably in our perspective poorly lit, and then we'll take them to spaces that have been lit differently, that are more sensitive to ecology, sensitive to dark skies, that kind of thing. And it's our way of just trying to demonstrate to people and get them on the ground at night and talk them through about how it makes them feel. A lot of it involves perceptions of safety and vulnerable spaces and things like that. So we're going to run a dark sky walk towards the end of next month as well. So stay tuned if you'd like to join us on that one in Sydney. That's what we do.
But I think what is fabulous with that is that it's experiential. So you can take your policymakers on that and walk them around and say, okay, this is what the standard wants, but how does it actually make you feel? Or this is what we've been told to do by the client, but is it really all that great? And these are the impacts or something like that. Whereas if you sit in a room and you talk to a bunch of policymakers about lighting, let's take Hyde Park, for example, in Sydney, that's about to be redone. On paper, it looks all right. They've ticked the boxes, they've done everything possible. And you can sit there and talk to your black and blue in the face about light pollution, but unless they've actually experienced it and felt it, feelings are a really powerful driver. I know we're sort of taught to forget about it, but it is actually a powerful driver. So giving people those experiences, whether it's tourist or professional or whatever, it's really important. So I think this is why I'm so passionate about getting as many dark sky educators as we can in whatever capacity they can do it, because those little things will appeal to different people and that will switch them on to switching off, basically. So, yeah.
And it's interesting because if you follow Australian standards and, you're not necessarily aware of the dark skies and you just follow the standard, and you might be a specifier of a light fitting, and you look at vertical illumination and horizontal illumination, and you have to meet these codes and you tick the boxes and my job's done. You probably haven't considered other things. You haven't considered color temperature. You haven't considered the ecology. You haven't considered any spill light into the night sky. And that's really where we come in. We're trying to help people understand that there's more than just that.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
No, great. Thank you.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you, Marnie, for hosting this.
Does anybody have any other questions who's not on screen? I've seen a comment from Remco. Thank you, Remco, for joining us as well. Another lighting industry person. Carol, yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've noticed a bit of a shift in thinking about this with the local governments that I work with. So in Western Australia, for those who don't know, I've been working with local governments for about the last 6 or 7 years to develop dark sky tourism. And it started off as an economic I went out to them with that economic pitch. This is dark sky tourism, great for regional tourism because you can't do it in the city. So people have to stay overnight. So immediately more dollars are dropping into the local community. But over the years, I've noticed that one shire particularly sees it as a social, impacting social on the ground. So it gives them an activity or something that is not football, basically. So it's not sport, and it's in largely a non-alcohol or alcohol-free environment as well. So it's a child-friendly activity where adults can socialise without being in a sport environment and away from alcohol. And just even more recently,
and sometimes free.
Yes. Yeah,
Not
well,
always,
that's right.
but sometimes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Yes. And then just recently, I've noticed that there's been sort of another shift in their thinking towards environmental. So they're looking at as part of their environmental mix in what they are doing at local government level. So it's not just about, caring for their waterways and or their bush that they might have, but if they can protect their night sky, it's another way of them reducing their carbon footprint and becoming environmental. So it's been quite an interesting journey. It was certainly, I think, that economic hook of this is something that visitors will want and will pay for, if they're there to have an experience, but it's kind of merged into those social and environmental impacts for them as well. So I've really enjoyed that. It's just been a little burbling thing that's happened over time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's because of people like you and everybody here that are passionate about it, that keep talking about it and implementing new ideas and planting seeds.
Yeah.
Because I think we've planted the seeds, we've grown the little seedlings, and now we're almost up to, knee-high little trees now, I guess. So
I think we have.
yeah. Anyway, I think a few things have come from this, and I'd love, if you're willing to, I'll send out an email afterwards. If anyone wants to keep in touch with anybody or even meet again to talk about more ideas or, ways forward, I think that would be great. I just wanted to sort of put a feeler out to see who'd be interested. As I said, I'm getting overwhelmed with requests and things, and I think it was you in your form, Rhiannon, that said that you've realised the importance of cross collaborations as well, interdisciplinary collaborations, because it's really important not just to have one side. So happy to keep making contact and growing this and seeing what we can do. So thank you very much. It's really nice to see you all and talk about something that I'm passionate about. Yeah. All right. Gareth, you just jumping on to say goodbye? Okay.
Exactly.
All righty. Thanks very much, everyone. I hope you learned something. And
Hi, Carol, as well.
Hi, Gareth. Hi, Nalini. Thanks so much, Marnie. I'll be signing up for the workshop.
Thank you. Thank you.
So good
See
of you
you.
to do.
Thank you.
Nice to come. See you, Warren. Bye.
Bye.